Hey everyone, I'm back here for Q&A on self-doubt. And I have a very special question here tonight from someone we will call Irene. And her question is a little heavy, so bear with me. And as I read it, and if you're listening, just breathe and release and help me create an intention for her that she finds clarity, that she finds lightness and release, because it's a little heavy. And so the question is, even if you have a home, a good family, and a nice job, why do I not like my life? I feel guilty for feeling this way. I don't feel like a good mother because my house is a mess. I really don't like my job, but I'm 4 years away from retirement. I feel drained and alone. I really don't know who to talk to. I believe that suicide is never the answer. That just makes your family hurt. So I'm not going to go that way, but I feel lost. So it's really, really heavy, full of emotions, really trapped emotions that she shared here. So Irene, I just want to let you know that I was in a similar situation. I was confused, I was restless, I felt empty, life was meaningless, everything was pointless. It was an existence that to me at that time was not worth living anymore. So I called this period of my time a dark night of my soul. And I really can feel every word that you said. In fact, I just did an interview yesterday. It's posted on my wall, on my profile. You're welcome to look at it. I shared in that interview the same pain, feeling invisible, this invisible pain, which is hard to explain. Nobody gets it. It's so deep, that sadness, and it's yearning for something more. And that something more is so very hard to know, especially if you're so heavily laden with responsibilities and who you should be versus who you really are. So I'm going to break down your question and address each of the sentences as best as I can. And know that this is just from my perspective, and I'm sharing this not to tell you to do exactly what I did. That's not the point. The point I would like to share with you is to find that hope inside of yourself. So it's not a unique situation. I mean, your situation is unique, of course, but a lot of people have gone through similar debilitating experiences. And I'm sharing my story with you so you can find the hope within yourself that you also can break through this. And it's not the end of the world. There's always hope. There's always a solution. Okay, so even if you have a home, a good family, and a nice job, why do I not like my life? Well, my answer to that is because we've been trained to become chameleons. We never knew who we are from birth to when we wake up to that point of dark night of the soul. We are really trained to just do things for other people, to follow rules, to be obedient, you know. Maybe you, like me, you've been trained to make everybody happy, put out fires for other people, help everyone else except yourself, right? Maybe you've also, like I didn't know. I thought I was taking care of myself, but the level of neglect and abandonment that I realized I was doing to myself, I didn't know. So there's an awakening that's happening to you, right? So yes, physically you're eating the right food, probably you're exercising or what, but emotionally, spiritually, there's some level of neglect that you've put yourself last. Okay, and what else did you say here? I feel guilty for feeling this way. I don't feel like a good mother because my house is a mess. um, yeah, that's the list of your problems. Hire someone to help clean your house. I was a single mom myself, and I couldn't handle it anymore. It was um, yeah, I was in the same position as you, that I was guilting myself for every little thing. I'm not good mom, but put down the stick. Stop beating yourself up. Um, Create a new meaning. Your house is a mess because the children are playing. The children are happy. They're making a mess because it's a livable house. It's not what do you call it? It's not a gallery. It's not an art museum, right? So it doesn't mean you're a bad mother, right? So stop beating yourself up. Let go of the need to make everything and your house perfect. So perfection is a mental trap that leads to self-judgment, that leads to self-loathing, that leads to low self-esteem, which explain why you feel drained and alone, right? The feeling of aloneness is because you are at war with yourself. And it doesn't mean that nobody is loving you, but when you're at war with yourself, you are not in a capacity to receive someone else's love. You're blocked off, you're closed off. So breathe with me, release. And you also said that you believe that suicide is never the answer, and I agree with you. There came a time in my dark night of the soul that I couldn't listen to my own thoughts anymore. I couldn't trust myself to think for myself because I could tell that it was going somewhere else. I knew I wasn't suicidal, but my thoughts were going somewhere dangerous. And so what I did was I listened 24/7 to Dwayne Dyer and Marianne Williamson. The headset was plugged in 24/7 in my ears. So I even in my sleep I was wearing the earbuds. So really sounds like your soul is in anguish, and really wants to come home to you. It's you coming home to yourself, except sometimes we push the calling of the soul in order to be practical, in order to fulfill our responsibilities and everyone else's expectations of us. So you said that you are 4 years away from retirement. I couldn't stay another month. I kept getting sick, headaches, stomach aches, dizziness. Again, I shared all this yesterday at an interview on my wall. So again, I'm sharing my path to you to open up possibilities that there's hope, that there's going to be a solution. I don't have the answer for you. It's a soul searching you have to do. It's a soul searching you have to give yourself permission to do. So some practical ways that you can do right now would be to journal, vomit all that heaviness, all that confusion on paper, release the space on paper, release the space, clear the space in your mind, put all the junk on paper so that there's space for new insights, new information, instead of holding on to the old and regurgitating the old information over and over again. So clear some space in your head, dump anything that you don't need on paper, and then new insights will come in. The hope will come in, the fire will come in, the light will come in. Number 2 would be to have a mindfulness or meditation practice. To really slow down your thoughts, and when you are able to detach your thoughts and observe the thoughts instead of being in the thoughts, right? So you're going to create a space where you can just observe the thoughts so that the thoughts can just pass by and the thoughts doesn't pull you down any longer. So that's the benefit of meditation and mindfulness. You just observe the thoughts without grabbing onto them and believing every thought that you think You are not your thoughts. You can pick and choose what thoughts are in your highest alignment to what you desire, which from what I can hear, you desire joy, you desire uh, finding out more about who you really are. And the number three would be to give your life meaning. You can volunteer, you can maybe go back to school, maybe start a hobby, go dancing again, go read a book that will inspire you, or take you to some faraway places, even in the mind, right? Go hiking. So do something physical, or activate your imagination to take you away to somewhere wonderful, activate that all over again. Okay, and then get to know yourself all over again. That would be my number four tip for you. There are many articles on getting to know yourself again, on self-love. Start getting to know yourself as if you were your long lost best friend. Tell your best friend you miss her. Ask her to remind you of her favorite things to do before she got bogged down by heaviness of her emotions, whatever trauma it was that triggered that. Remind her of all the wonderful things you miss about her. Ask her to remind you of her dreams that got swept under the rug and forgotten. And then explore the world together. What small thing that if you give yourself permission to do, even if it's just in your imagination, it will bring a smile on your face. I remember I was in a similar situation as you. Like, everything was so heavy, just really, just really sad. I was very, I was driving, I was listening to an audio of one of spiritual coaches I was following at that time. And he said something and I was crying. And he shared a trick to do. And so he said to put this, I was driving, okay? And in order to interrupt the sadness, the pattern of sadness that I was doing, the pattern of feeling sorry for myself that I was doing, it became habitual. At that point, it became a normal for me. It became a pattern. So in order to interrupt that pattern that has become habituated, that has become a way of being for me, his instruction was, and I was driving, put a pencil or a pen in the mouth. And I did. And that small action right there kind of forced my physiology, my mouth, it put a smile on my mouth. And I started feeling myself smile, even though I was crying, even though I was like grieving or something. I was just really so sad. And I put the pen in my mouth, and automatically I felt this smile on my face. And then I burst out laughing because I realized, I was thinking, oh my God, all the other drivers would think I had lost my mind. So that is just an example that you can interrupt your thoughts, you can interrupt your physiology, you can interrupt your words, the language that you use to talk to yourself about yourself, or to talk about you towards others. These are the points of control. You have control over this, your thoughts, your words, your deeds. And knowing that, you can control your life. You can take back control of your life. You can take back control of your mind. You can take back control of your heart. All right, so release it all out, and I hope you feel better soon. And I am here for you if you have other questions. And so for all those who listen to this, I know it's a little heavy. If she was with me on a one-to-one, you know, we can get through right to the core of the matter, but I can only reach you through this Facebook Live. And let me know, you can always connect with me via Messenger if this serves you, and if you have other questions. So point I would like to leave behind is, at some point in our life, we, you know, there's a knock in our heart, and that knocking, that is what's creating the restlessness, the yearning. And we need to really stop and listen. What are you reminding me? What are you telling me? And it is your true nature knocking and wants to come home, because up until that point of awakening, we were programmed to adapt, to do what everyone else expected of us. It's time now. Your soul is awakening. It's time now for you to reclaim your life again. All right? Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Tess Vergara, soul-powered executive coach, and I'll talk to you again sometime soon. All right. Bye-bye.